The term for that is sallying the ship.
Yeah.
In sailing ships, and they teach it at the academies, the boys are taught, one of the things on the ship is the crew lines up, say, along the port rail, and everybody runs over to the starboard side, and that's supposed, and the ship gets free or something. It's called sallying. That's the term. Because I remember Richard Rybacker, he challenged me, what do you know about that? And I described it. He says, oh. But here's a cute little story about up in the Arctic. I remember in the going ashore thing, I met a French priest, Catholic priest, Frenchman from France, who spent his entire career in the Arctic, ministering to the Eskimos, or Inuit as they call them.
This is when you were on the cruise?
That is correct. That is correct. Now this is well into the cruise, and we got into the real Canadian waters and all.
Sure.
And he told me that every couple of years he went home for a big leave in France and come back. And I said, gee, didn't you get a mademoiselle to stay over there? I said to myself. At any rate, then the natives up there, on Sunday, they would go to the Catholic church and they'd get some goodies. Then after they finished that, they'd go over to the Protestants and they would mumble the prayers over there, and they got some goodies over there. So they weren't so stupid, and the white boys were handing out the goodies, you know.
That's funny.
All in the name of Jesus. See? So I thought that was I don't know how to say, and that would be an interesting observation. All civilizations have religions and worship. I wonder what the Eskimos had all by themselves without the influence of missionaries.
As a low-level crew member of the stores, I wasn't very much in tune. Being I was in the black gang electrician down below, I really never saw the light of day too much, except every once in a while. But I know we got ashore somewheres up there, either on that cruise or another one, and I was amazed at the way they buried their dead. Because you'd see boxes sitting on top of any rise all along. That was all their ancestors. As a permafrost, they didn't dig and bury them. They just put them in a box on top of a hill. So I guess if you want to see your great-granddaddy, you could just go open a box and look at it or something. I don't know.
Pretty handy at that.
And the other thing was being from Louisiana and having lived with mosquitoes and insects, I thought we had the rights to them, right? And boy, on that tundra up there, those insects.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Fella.
Oh,
Mosquitoes don't get on
the
the
billions.
tundra. I feel so sorry for caribou. They must live a miserable existence.
Yeah, that's right.
What was the environment on land like there? It wasn't snow covered, was it?
It was ugly. It was bleak. It looks like
it was
just
soggy.
I mean, we were there in the middle of the summer, so it was. You know, the very tippy.
I think it's very light snowfall up there, though. Really. Another thing that's when you read about the Arctic and hear about the explorers and all, is cairns, K-A-I-R-N-S, and how they would create these cairns with rocks and sticks, and they would mark a spot, and they would also be a burial site or a cache of food for the explorers up there doing their thing.
Did you see any of those cairns while you're up there?
I personally did not, but those who went ashore deeper than I did might have.
Chuck, when you got ashore, you stayed ashore for a while.
I stayed ashore, but I don't remember finding any of those. But
you do remember seeing the coffins out there?
No,
you don't remember.
I don't remember that. I do remember. I mean, the area that I was in, you would know better where they put me than I. It was August 22nd that I was there, 23rd to 22nd. The day before my birthday, my birthday was 22nd, I came back the next day. But I don't know where they, I know the chart will show us on that date because everything is dated as to where I was. But all I saw was these, flat tundra, and it was wet.
Any trees?
No trees.
No trees. What's
no
a
trees
tree?
whatsoever.
What's a tree? Yeah.
Well, you said y'all were probably using had a fire going. What would you burn if there was no wood around?
I don't remember. Probably driftwood, I guess. But I know we cooked. I know we ate.
Well, that's another thing about the natives up there. They're very frugal and enterprising and quite skillful in utilizing something the third, fourth, or fifth time. So if they got a hold of some ball bearings or any object that had value, they would nurture it and find a use for it.
Sure.
And I remember I had a couple of old suits and all. And I remember one midnight I went out on the ship and there was a guy in a boat there. Here, you son of a bitch, says I. Here's some stings for you. And I remember we had a chief in the engine, Orange Star, quite a nice guy. He said, Mr. Farley, I heard you. You use a naughty word. And anyway, but they were very good about doing things like that. And they were skillful in keeping little motorboats and all running. They had to be to survive, but they were.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you also mentioned you did soundings all the way through the voyage. Was that the first time that route had been sounded properly? There were no charts?
There was no charts or nothing. They knew where the islands were, but they didn't know how deep the water was.
But is it as deep as 10,000 feet up in the Arctic?
No, no.
Because I heard a radio program recently, and they talked about 10,000 foot deep Arctic. I was amazed.
If it was, I would say it had to be on the western side over there where it's more open.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, maybe so.
But back by the islands, it wasn't.
Uh-huh.
Because the South Pole is a mountain-like, and the North
Yeah.
Pole is water and mushy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the temperatures outside? Was it ferociously cold, or was it
No,
fairly
summertime,
tolerable?
I would
Yeah.
say it was, what,
60s.
50, 60,
We
70?
always wore
Yeah.
jackets.
It was
Yeah, we wore
amazingly.
jackets.
It was tolerable. It was tolerable.
Yeah, it was tolerable. It wasn't cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I know it wasn't cold, because we were using the sextant all day long.
Mm-hmm. With your bare hands, or?
Bare hands,
Yeah.
and we weren't getting cold.
Uh-huh.
We
So-
were taking readings, every minute.
Yeah. So a lot of that area that you were going through, like the land, would probably be snow covered during the winter time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
But
Yeah.
it was just bare
Be
tundra.
snow covered and probably be iced over.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
know the water on top of
Yeah,
those ice fields is fresh.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
It's not salt.
yeah.
You know that, huh?
Sure. So
Yeah,
you could
right.
you could drink
Yeah.
the melt water if you
Yeah.
wanted to
You
off
really
the
could,
ice.
right.
Yes,
Yeah.
you could. That is correct. Yeah.
I'm surprised
So-
you didn't collect some of that if it was running short on board the vessel.
Well,
Or the
engineers,
showers.
they, what do you call it, desalt the ice or whatever it is, the water, and so we had fresh water.
Yeah, we had an evaporator, but as I was telling
It's not adequate.
Bill here, was
It tasted salty.
it was very low
Sometimes
powered.
it would get
So we
salty.
Power
we
up.
made a small
Yeah.
amount of water and we all conserved. It worked out, but everybody had to pull together.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you convoyed down to the Atlantic with the Canadian
Well,
cutter.
the Canadian cutter brought us out of Bellot Straits.
Mhm.
And once we got out of Bellot Straits, and they went somewhere else, and we proceeded on down.
Okay.
Argentina.
All right.
Oh yes, I got a
That's
story
Juge.
about
The Davis Straits,
Uh-huh.
they were mothers.
That's,
you remember
that's
those
the
big
Davis,
seas?
Davis Straits is down alongside Greenland.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that
that-
right?
Boy,
When we
those
came
seas
out
were huge.
Bellot, we went into Davis Straits.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
man.
And we went down to Newfoundland.
Uh-huh.
I went around the thing and we was coming west. It was about 30 minutes from St. Mary's Light, which is on the southwest corner of Newfoundland there.
Hmm.
And from there we would turn up and go into Juge. And that's where we got a SAR call. An Air Force plane went down.
Oh.
And we spent 2 days out there running around trying to find it.
All
I think it was
three of the vessels.
all
were
three of
out
the
there.
vessels.
Search and
I
rescue.